I can't really fathom the rise of BTS. You know what BTS
Yeah,
is?
me either.
I don't really get it. I mean, it's not for me to get. I'm 32 years old. But
really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You don't have to.
You're gonna need the visual. You're gonna need the video of this
Korean pop boy band.
Korean pop boy band. Just because like we don't really like Americans don't really fuck with outside entertainment.
Yeah, not at all.
Other than like art house cinema or something.
And British people,
And
Spice
British.
Girls and stuff like that.
But even then, it's like
of all the music that's been made by
no, I'm
British
talking about
people.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
British
boy bands.
music like Spice Girls. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're talking about like boy bands. And,
but like Oasis and stuff. And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
all had. But they had like a time in the 90s.
yeah.
Whereas like, you know, Gangnam Style was like and the Macarena. Those are like one hit wonder weirdo kind of like.
Yeah.
You know, anomalies, whereas BTS is like, these girls are like, oh my god, I fuck every single one of them.
I don't
Like,
get it
it's
because they're
weird.
all the same. They cloned one Asian guy 9
Yeah.
times and just colored his hair different colors, and
That's
that's,
what it looks
BTS.
like.
I saw them at SNL. I was actually there, and I was with some friends who
I
work
think
at the
that's
show.
just technically racist.
What? My observation of them? I mean, go look at a picture. I mean, I'm just saying. It's an observation. It's the same guy 9 times with different hair. I'm not joking. Go look at the pictures. They cloned the one guy. They're like, you're the one guy with music talent in Korea. We're gonna clone you 7 times. And yeah, that's it.
And also that
and you
there's 7
notice,
of
by
them.
the way, I've seen them in interviews. Only one of them speaks English, so he has to reiterate the rest of the band.
Really?
That's the guy who was the original. The rest of them don't even speak as their clones.
They don't
It's like
speak Korean.
multiplicity.
They don't
Dude,
speak any.
They don't speak anything, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no other
They're
head.
all like a little bit off from
Yeah.
the original, like Multiplicity. You ever see that movie?
Oh yeah.
So I went to SNL, and they were.
No, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know why I did that. I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
But I agreed with the first part, and then you said the second part,
Right
and then I
on.
was like, I don't want to be a liar, so I had to come clean.
I was at SNL.
Come
Yep,
out of
and
it.
they always they have a musical guest. In this case, the musical guest was BTS, right?
Right.
That's what they're called. BTS.
Which stands for?
I don't know.
I'm just fucking with
no
you.
one.
I don't think anybody
I don't
knows.
know. Anyway, so you heard people. So I was upstairs in the offices watching
Yeah.
the show and like on the computers, and literally you heard people on the street level screaming.
Yeah.
And when we left, we went to the after party. We walked out the doors, and I really fucked with these people because there were just 100 people on either side of me. As soon as I walked out, I started waving like I was somebody, and I got a. It was so fucking funny. But then we went to the after party, and literally at the after party, and they weren't anywhere to be found because
course
those
not.
people would never go to an
Yeah.
after party.
Why? Because they can't
They can't do anything.
be in a public
Yeah,
setting.
they
Yeah.
can't be anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, they really can't be anywhere.
Even I don't know how big the SNL after party is. How big is it?
well, they usually
Just
take
straight up
they
people.
take over an entire bar or restaurant.
Right, but I'm sure a big one. It's
Yeah.
like 250 people.
Yeah,
more?
I mean, yeah.
Like even people invited to an after party, would they like
But
mess with them? Not mess with.
I mean,
but-
I don't think the people who work at SNL would mess with them. I don't. Think,
course not,
I don't
yeah.
think they give a shit. But I think that because outside of the after party were several people. And by the way, I'm looking at these girls. They're probably 15 years old. They're sitting on a street of New York City with another 15-year-old girl. It's
Just
like
waiting to
2:30
see,
in the
yeah.
morning. I'm like, who are your parents? Like,
Yeah.
like I never would have been allowed to do anything like this as a kid. But they didn't show up to the after party because I don't think that it's literally safe for them to be anywhere. I think,
Right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just think they have to be from hotel room to limo to plane.
No, you're
and
right.
that's it. That's the only thing. That's the only place they're safe.
I was working at the Ed Sullivan building,
Uh-huh.
and they had BTS on Colbert, and I'm just like, you know, I'm on the 3rd floor, just by a window, and all of a sudden you hear like this huge gaggle of girls because they had just gotten out of the car, and these girls were screaming
Oh my god.
so loud you could hear it on the 3rd floor. So they did Colbert show or whatever, and then I'm leaving work at around 6 or 7 or whatever it is. I'm walking out, and the security guy's like, "Which way are you going?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Which way are you going, left or right?" I'm like, "Left." He's like, "Good, because you can't go right, because they blocked the whole street off for these guys
Jesus
to
Christ.
like leave.
God.
And there was just there's like hundreds of people there.
You know how popular they are that there's a second version of the band, and it's like a Kmart to the Walmart. It's like a knockoff version.
That's not
of it.
true, is it?
Yeah, this is 100% true.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
And they're literally called like KB5. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm not kidding in any way at all. They were on. So my fiance produces for a couple of shows on ABC. She's I think it was Strahan and Sarah is the daytime show. They were the musical guests on Daytime and Sarah, and it was the same shit, dude. Everybody showed up obsessed with it, and I'm like, I think it was the little brother of the guy in the original band, and they cloned the little brother 7 times, and then made that band because it's completely contrived. But
that's how big BTS is the same group. Like, the market exists for another of them to exist.
Yeah.
And they also have 2 billion fans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not
Yeah.
like, oh, like, if you're a clone of a pretty big band, you wouldn't be able to make a living.
Well, it's because it's like record executives are like Amazon. They're like, people who bought this also would buy this. So they literally have an algorithm. They just invent a new band.
I want them to.
That's what they
there's
do.
just so many Korean boy bands. I bet there's now a shit ton, actually, if you want to be
Probably.
honest. And but I would bet if they get so desperate for like people because there's so many bands, they just start throwing in white guys. And
Yeah. There's just a black guy in there, just like, all right.
well, this is what I've always felt about boy bands, and this is why BTS is weird to me. They're all the same age. That's not how it should be. A boy band when we were growing up was 4 teenagers and then 1 29-year-old. I swear to God, look it up.
It was like an episode of Entourage.
There will be Timberlake 18, like Joey Fatone was like 20, and then like JC Chavez was like 29, and you're like, you're at a different stage of life. It's not cool.
I'm trying to remember the Backstreet Boys. Isn't like Kevin?
Yes,
is that the one
he's
who's like
the oldest one.
46?
Yeah. Who
And
is
he's
Joey
just hanging out-
Fatone?
Yeah.
I love Joey Fatone,
But it's weird because that, like, you bring up this interesting thing that it weirds me out about BTS is like, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, there was like always like no more than 5. Like BTS is like 7.
Yeah.
And like the 8th guy got
Because the
killed or
scientist got greedy. He's like, I can make 7.
It's just weird. It's like, how
I can
many,
do it.
and they're like, no, you can't. He was like, watch me.
It's just I don't hear 7 harmonies. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, there's only 5 ways. Yeah, isn't like the 5th hammer of harmony, where it's like if 4 hammers are hitting simultaneously, then you add a 5th that actually disrupts the.
You're the one music.
I should know this.
Yeah, so the 5th hammer is what if you have 4 hammers hitting a piece of iron in unison, they have like a melody or whatever you say, they harmonize. But if you add one 5th hammer into that same thing, it fucks everything up.
Really?
It distorts the sound.
So BTS is 3 clones fucking
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, dude. That's why 3 of them are lip syncing.
That's a controversy. Right there.
How funny that'd be. Only 3 of them are lip syncing.
I don't even like. They all have different hair, and you're right. I didn't even know there was like Severin. I didn't know there was seven.
Severin?
Severin. God damn it!
Spit it out, stupid.
7 different hair colors that could exist.
Yeah,
Even like
Roy G.
doing
Biv.
crazy ones.
Yeah.
Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv. They're all the Roy G.
And
And
Teal.
the CMYK. They're the Roy G. Biv and CMYKs. I don't know.
I don't really get it.
But
I don't
this
even
is-
know where they.
Do you
like,
think if we name this podcast after the names of these bands, we'll just get a bunch of hits?
Yeah.
It
we're
might
doing it.
be
Let's give it a
smart
shot.
to just be like the BTS.
The BTS episode.
The BTS episode.
And then in the description, it'd be like super fans, Christian Brandick, talk about all their favorite songs.
And then we get a bunch of like BTS fangirls like who listen, and then like 20 minutes in, they're like, they're talking about this fucking clock hand strangle shit. What is this?
we played a clock and string. We make BTS fans. But then somehow BTS finds out about it and it's like, that's pretty good.
a good song,
and then
man.
they sample it.
Yeah.
And then guess what? Clock and strangle. Back together, baby.
It's not even. They just get a big royalty check, but it only goes to one of them. It goes to Todd. He's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm the one who wrote it.
Yeah.